In this video, I'm going to give you a full demo on how you can configure Microsoft Teams as your business telephone system. Let's go. But before we start, just a quick intro. My name is Jonathan Edwards and my business is called Integral IT. We help businesses all over the world with their Microsoft 365. Now, if you're using Microsoft 365 in your business, using Microsoft Teams as your fully functional business telephone system is the natural next step. Yes, you can go out and buy an off-the-shelf VoIP package, or you can even have a phone server in your office. But nothing really compares to using Teams as your phone system. Now, if you do use Microsoft Teams as your telephone system, you can simply use the Teams app on your computer with a headset. Or if having a physical phone on your desk is your thing, you can actually buy Teams telephones. Or you can use the app on your smartphone. There's an answer for everything. Now, before I give you the full demo on how to configure Teams as your telephone system, let's just talk about licensing and costs. To use Teams as your telephone system, you need two things. Firstly, everybody needs to have a Microsoft Teams Phone Standard license. That costs £6.60 per user per month. Or if you use Microsoft 365 E5 at £52.40, the Teams Phone Standard is included. At that price, I meant no wonder. Now, when you've bought everybody a Microsoft Teams Phone Standard license, you still don't have a fully functional telephone system. No, that'd be too easy. But you have the plumbing in place, ready to connect a phone system to it. And that is the second thing you need. You now have two choices. You can use Microsoft telephone system, or you can choose a telecoms provider in your country that has a Teams plugin. This is usually called Operator Connect. So due to the rise in Microsoft Teams, lots of telecoms companies have developed their own Operator Connect system, which plugs nicely into Microsoft Teams. This is actually our recommendation. Use a telecom system who have been a telecoms provider for many years. Now, if you use an Operator Connect, that will cost you about £5 to £10 per user per month. So your fully functional telephone system, usually with a minute bundle, is going to cost you about £10, £15, £17 per user per month. Now, you've heard enough of me. Let's jump onto that PC behind me for your full demo. So to administer Microsoft Teams as your telephone system, you need to log into Microsoft 365 as an admin. Now, you can see here I've logged into the 365 portal. You can see I've got the admin tab here. So I'll launch that. Now, this is just a test tenant. So if I just have a look at my users, you can see I've just got a couple of users in here, Rishi Sunak. And if I just have a look at the licenses here in the tenancy, you can see that I've got a Microsoft Teams Phone Standard, and that has been applied to Rishi. Now, I've also got a couple of other things that is worth noting. There's a Microsoft Teams Phone Resource account. So what is a resource account? Well, these are licenses that you need to add to Microsoft 365, but they don't cost you anything. But you'll need them for things like audio conferencing, auto attendant, and call queues. These are kind of advanced features of a telephone system, which I'm going to go over later in the video. I've also got a Microsoft Teams domestic calling plan. This is the alternative to Operator Connect, but I'll show you everything in this video. Once we've finished here, I can go to Show All. And if I go down to the admin centers, we need to be in the Microsoft Teams admin center. Now, once we're in here, we've got lots of options. Now, most of our work in this video is going to be in this voice section here. But before we do anything, you need to add an emergency address. Now, this isn't a Microsoft 365 thing. This is actually a telecoms thing in general. You have to have an emergency address listed. So I'll go through and click on Add, and I will add the address now. So I'll call this Office. The country is going to be the United Kingdom. So if I scroll down to United Kingdom, and then I will just enter this address now. And click on Save. And that has now entered. Now we can close that and we can go now into the voice section. So let's click on phone numbers to start with. Now you can see at the moment, I've got no phone numbers. But before I go into this, let's just have a look at the Operator Connect menu here. You can see my operators, there's nothing there. But if I click onto all operators, you can see these are all the companies around the world who offer an Operator Connect service. So what I can do, I can look at different countries. If I'm in the United Kingdom, I can look at all the companies in the United Kingdom that offer the Operator Connect service. And then we can also go on to offer details, and it usually launches the website. Now, this is the company that we use in our business to provide Teams phones to our customers. But this is a nice way to find a company that suits you. So if you sign up for an Operator Connect service, what you would do is you would log into their portal. So pretending this is Gamma again, we log into the Gamma portal, we add a new customer in there, we connect it to Microsoft 365, and we order numbers through Gamma. And once that has been done, the phone numbers end up in here, okay? And it'll say number provider Gamma, okay? So that's the Operator Connect bit. But what I'm going to show in this video is how to order them directly from Microsoft. So if I now simply click on add on here, I can order directly from Microsoft. So I call this new order, new user, Rishi. And then we go on to where we are. So again, I'm in the United Kingdom. The number type. Now, this is where I talked about the resource accounts earlier in the video. If I'm just ordering a new number for Rishi, this is simply a user subscriber. This is a user who's got a phone, a Teams phone standard license. These other services here all require a resource account, and these do different things. So we've got an auto attendant, which I'm going to go through later in the video, and call queues also. So all these will become self-explanatory. It's just worth noting at the moment, if you look at in brackets, it says toll or toll free. This means that the person who is calling this number will either pay for the call or won't. That's what it means. There's no other cost for you to get involved in here. That's what that means, okay? So if I just call this, because I'm setting one up for Rishi, a user, and now what I'm going to do, it says Operator Microsoft, I'm just going to put a number in there. And then we can choose a city, okay? So I've put United Kingdom, so I've just got all the cities in the United Kingdom. So what I will do is go for Leeds, which is a big city near me. And then I will click on here. That is the Leeds area code, so I can click on there. And then just going back a step, you can see here, this is where we entered the emergency number. So if I just click in Office here, you can see that I can select that. So every number has to have an emergency address attached to it. Okay, once I'm happy with that, I simply click on Next. Okay, it's now given me a phone number. Now at the bottom, I've got 10 minutes to either place this order or reject it. I'll go back. So what I'll do is I'll place this order. And it says, thank you, the order has been placed. Okay, so click on Finish. And my phone number is now listed in here, and the number provider is Microsoft. So what I can do now, I can select this number, I can click on Edit, and I can assign this number to Rishi. So if I type Rishi in there, you can see it's there. I click on Assign. We can also keep that listed here, so Rishi now will get an email with all his phone number information, and I can click on Apply. And now we get this box here. This is Microsoft selling Teams phones. So you can see that there are some specialist Teams phone available. That's okay. I don't need to see that. So I will close that box there. So the next things I'm going to add is some of these resource accounts. So I can show you some of the more advanced features of Teams telephony later in the video. So I'll click on Add. Again, I'm going to call this an auto attendant. Now, if you don't know what an auto attendant is, it's a little bit like a virtual receptionist, okay? So our business auto attendant. Again, these need numbers, and these are the resource accounts. So again, everything should become clear later in the video. So in number type this time, I'm going to choose auto attendant. I'm going to choose 1 because I want 1 quantity here. Again, let's choose Leeds for this. I can scroll down to Leeds. like that. I click on next. Area code. So click on there. So that's the same area code. Click on next. Okay, it's given me my number. So I'll click on place order and click on finish. Okay, so you can see license usage. That's a user. This is a voice app. Okay, I'm now going to add another one. So we'll call this call queue. Number type, call queue toll. Select one from there. City is Leeds. Click on next. Choose the area code. Click on next. Okay, and click on place order and click on finish. Okay, so now I've got a couple of resource groups and I've got Rishi Sunak, who's a full user. So these resource groups are to show you some of the advanced features of Teams telephony. Now, it's a bit of an awkward way now to configure this. It's a bit of a long-winded way. I've got these here, and now I scroll down to resource accounts. And the first one I'm going to add is, let's call it a call queue, okay? I'm going to call this marketing call queue. And we'll call this marketing, because it has to have an email address, call queue, okay? This is going to be a call queue. And then I'll click save. Okay, so we get that there. Phone number unassigned, license unassigned. Next, I'm going to create an auto attendant. So we'll call this main auto attendant. Main auto attendant, we'll just abbreviate that. And that is an auto attendant. Okay, those have been added and they're both unassigned, unlicensed. What I have to do now is go back into my main 365 admin portal. What I'll do is refresh this. And what you'll see is that those two accounts that I've just created are now here as unlicensed. So what I have to do is go in and I need to license them with those resource groups that we talked about. Okay, so that needs a license. These accounts, but the sign-in is blocked. They're just resource accounts, so you leave it as sign-in blocked. Assign the license to these. Okay, click on save. And then we can go back in here. We can refresh this page now. And you can see that these are both now licensed, but the phone number still says unassigned. So what I need to do is I need to go into my phone numbers. So I've got a couple of phone numbers here, which I created earlier. I can click on edit and I can assign this to, so I'll assign this to the marketing. Add that to that. It's just a bit of a long-winded way to do it, if I'm honest, but this is how you do it. That's now been assigned to there. And this is the main auto attendant. Click on apply. Okay, so once that is done, if I go back to resource accounts, there we are. So my two resource accounts now are licensed and they've both got phone numbers. So now I'm in a position to show you a couple of the advanced features, auto attendant and call queues. Okay, let's start with auto attendant. So an auto attendant is a little bit like a virtual receptionist, answering the phone, directing it into different departments to different people. You can do that automatically without a human being doing it, and that is called an auto attendant. So if I click on add, so the first option is operator. Now we can have this as a person, we can have it as a resource account, so it could go straight to a call queue, which I'll explain in a moment. It could also be an external phone number, and again this is an optional setting. Time zone we need, so if I just type in London, I'm just going to keep this as simple as I can, okay? Language, again, make sure you choose the language that is your country. So this is English United States. However, I'm based in England, so I want an English accent. And now we've got a voice inputs. So callers can search for others in their organization using their voice. So this could be someone calling up and saying, Rishi Sunak, okay? And it'll put them through to Rishi Sunak. That's that feature. It's off at the moment. I'll leave it off. I'll click on next. Oh, I need a name. So I'll just call this auto attendant. Click on next. Now we've got some greeting options. So you can have no greeting. What you can do as well is get a professional sound file created. So you could have music, you could have a marketing message, you could say, welcome to our business, and you can upload that into Microsoft Teams. Or you can just add a greeting message. And what this means here, you will put the text in here. So I'll put welcome to Integral IT. How that will sound, that will be just kind of a Microsoft automated voice, maybe a bit robotic, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so that would be that one. You can put whatever you want in there. And then we've got the call routing option. So the first one is just disconnect it, or redirect. So we can redirect this to a person in the organization, a voice app, or a voicemail. So we've got those options there. Or we've got play menu options. This is the option that people will be familiar with when it comes to Auto Attendant. Again, at this point, we can have another audio file, we can have another greeting. So I could put, please choose from the following options. Okay, this is where it gets juicy. Set menu options. Press 1 to speak to Rishi Sunak. Okay, you see how powerful this is? Add another one. Press 2, that could be to speak to, let's say, a voice app. So this could be a call queue, okay? I've not created a call queue yet, but it could be press 2 to speak to marketing. I could have another call queue called IT support. Press 3 to speak to IT support. So do you see how all this works? And then people ring your number and they can be put through to different departments. That's an auto attendant, okay? And that's how you would configure it. I'm just going to switch this off at the moment just to show you the rest of the options in the auto attendant, but you can switch it back on there. Click on next, and then you go through to the advanced options. So what happens after your business hours? So at the moment, our business hours, well, we're open 24 hours. But what you can do, you can say, well, we're not open weekends. We're open from 8 till 6. And then you can start to configure what happens after business hours. Okay, click on next. We've also got holidays, things like Christmas. Christmas might be on a weekday. So you put the date in there and your phone system behaves accordingly. Click on next. So this is the dial scope. Which users will be available when someone calls this auto attendant? At the minute, it's all online users. We've excluded no one. So we can say, look, the CEO isn't going to be part of this. You can't ring up the auto attendant and say, can I get put through to the CEO? And you get put through. So that's that bit there. Next, resource account. So it's the resource account we've created here that I can add in here. So it was main auto attendant. Yeah, we'll add that, please. Click on add. So this is the phone number that you would give out as the main auto attendant, okay? That would be it. Click on next. And then the people who can make changes to the auto attendant. So anybody in your team who you want to do that can do that. And you click on submit. And that is your main auto attendant. Maybe we can just do a little test with that. So if I dial that number here, what happens?
Welcome to Integral IT.
So you can see that's very basic. We put welcome to Integral IT in there. But if you remember, we didn't set up the press 1, press 2. We just said disconnect the call. And that's what it's done. Okay. So that's the auto attendant. Let's talk about call queues. So a call queue could be a marketing department. It could be, it's just an area where people wait to speak to agents. Okay. So I can add a call queue here. Again, the first thing we do is add a resource. So put this marketing team in here. That's the call queue. Click on add. And this is for outbound calling. So what number do you want to show up when agents from this department make an outbound call? So I could have it showing up as the marketing department, or I could have it showing up as another number. So that's the main auto attendant. So again, it probably makes sense because then when people ring back, they'll go through to the main auto attendant. Okay, click on add. We've got a language. So we've got different languages here. So I want to choose English again. Click on next. So we've got the greeting again. So when they hit this call queue, you can again have an audio file. Welcome to the marketing department, etc., etc. I'll put no greeting there. We've got some on hold music. So Microsoft have their own. So if someone puts a call on hold, music will play. Again, you can upload your own files. So this could be a good marketing technique. Okay. Click on next. So who's going to answer the calls in this queue? We can add a team, so a channel in Microsoft Teams, or users and groups. Okay, just for simplicity, I'm going to put Rishi because I've not got any more users in this tenant. Okay, so we can have different agents in here. We can choose a team. That's all very good. Click on next. So we've got a different routing method. So what is going to happen when calls are put through to lots of different agents? It could be an attendant routing. So this is all the numbers ringing at the same time. We've got a serial routing, which means something slightly different, ringing agents one by one. We've got a round robin, which each agent will get the same number of calls. Longest idle, so who's been idle the longest. So again, that's how these calls will be routed. Will you let agents opt out of taking calls? Yes or no? Okay, click on next. So now we've got some exception handling, call overflow. So what does this mean? So when there's a maximum of 50 calls in the queue, so when there's 50 people waiting, you can disconnect them or you can redirect them, and you can set that to 200 people. So you don't want people sat around. So you might say, well, when there's 50 people waiting, why don't we redirect this to voicemail, okay? And people can leave a message. So that's a nice feature there for call overflow. We've got call timeout. So if you don't want people to be waiting in a queue for a long time, you can say, well, after 20 minutes, I wouldn't want to set that. So if you're waiting 20 minutes in a queue and you don't answer, it disconnects. That wouldn't be great for customer service. But again, you can redirect this to another call queue, another person, or a shared voicemail. So that's another good setting there. And the final option here, this setting is when you've got no one signed in. Perhaps everybody's gone for lunch at the same time. Again, just queue it, or you can disconnect it, or you can redirect it. That might be a better idea for that, okay? So I'll just click on there for ease of use. I'll click on next. Again, similar to the auto attendant, you can get people to make changes to this, and we click on submit. So in this video, we've talked about getting phone numbers, creating users, creating call queues, auto attendants, resource accounts. You can see that Microsoft Teams is a really good phone system for your business. So there you have it. There's the demo. You can implement Microsoft Teams as your phone system in your business in under 30 minutes. See you again soon.